The following is a paid program. Talk 103.7 WTIP and Cable Channel 7 welcome you into Financially Speaking with Jim Taunton. Find us live on radio, TV, the IPX Media app, and on YouTube. Just search Financially Speaking NC or get the link at WTIPFM.com. The opinions expressed in this show are for general informational purposes only and not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine what investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, financial, or tax advisor prior to investing. Securities and investment advisory services are offered through Genoas Wealth Management Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Now, here's your host for Financially Speaking, certified financial advisor, Jim Taunton.
Welcome to Financially Speaking. Jim Taunton here, your host for the next 30 minutes. So glad you joined me. It would be a terrible listener participation program if there were no listeners. But that brings me to the next point. We'd love to have a phone call or two or three, actually. And the number here is 252-561-TALK, 561-8255. So pick up the phone and call with your financially related question or comment. I'd love to converse with you. If you call in, as always, your name goes into the drawing for the dinner for two at Tavola. I'll even pay the tip. Great place to eat. Behind Moe's in the Food Line Shopping Center, which is beside the bowling alley on Red Banks Road. And it's a locally owned place. I ate there at least once, sometimes twice a week. Great place to eat. So you'll get a great place to eat. You'll find a new place you can go. Eat some good food, and all because you asked a question, not answered one. Highly unusual. So do that for me. And the number again is 252-561-TALK, 561-8255. And I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes.
Invite you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates. Low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Ayton Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Ayton Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
Welcome back. I'm doing lots of things here, so I'm kind of preoccupied. Good to have you back. And don't think I got no text from the producer, so we did not get a call during the break. That's a sad state of affairs. See if I can get, pardon me while I take care of something. There we go. All right, so the number is 561-TALK, 561-8255. We'd love to have a call from you, anything financially related, question or comment. And I'll try to answer a question or chime in with your comment, one or the other. I do have some information prepared, but, I always leave lots of time, so you don't want to hear me doing a soft shoe routine. So, first thing, you're hearing me live on the radio, of course, on 103.7. And also, I'm live on my YouTube channel, which is Financially Speaking NC for North Carolina. So if you go to YouTube, search bar, Financially Speaking NC, you'll find it. Subscribe, you'll get notifications every week. And you can watch live, or you can always go back and watch a program from the past. They archive them, as you know, on YouTube. So let's see. All right. Just got a note from the producer that Edgar is on the line. Edgar, thank you so much for interrupting the monologue. I appreciate that. Go right ahead with your question.
I get a lot of phone calls from companies that want to deal with high interest credit cards that I have.
Mm-hmm.
There are different approaches to what they do, but I've been approached by one that says that they have pre-negotiated agreements with certain of the card providers that I have, and that they will set up a escrow account for me, and the payments will go into an escrow account. It takes 3 months to get everything up and running good, which means that those payments are not being made during that time, but they say they can get a deferment for that time frame,
Mm-hmm.
and then the negotiated balances will be reduced by anywhere from 40 to 50%,
Right.
and there will be no interest. Is that a outright lie or a scam, or is there really programs like that?
Well, Edgar, I've heard lots of things about these types of programs. There are a bunch of them, and a lot of them advertise on national media. My first question to you is it something that you need at this point?
Yes, I was in a hostile takeover scenario and had to use some credit cards to fund some business expenses.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's they negotiate and get balances down and that sort of thing. It's what I've heard. I've had no personal experience. I can't even do direct recommendations of any particular service to clients. My compliance department just will not allow that. But I've just made clients aware that the services are there, and they can Google it for themselves and find one that they like, look at ratings and what have you. But I will tell you that my understanding is that they do negotiate balances, but it does detrimentally affect your credit. So it's not an amicable.
They went over that with me, and
Mm-hmm.
The indication is that you take a step back to get 2 steps forward later.
Right.
And
that is
at
correct.
this juncture, my high utilization is killing me anyway.
Right.
And so,
well, what I would suggest you do is the Better Business Bureau would be a really good source for that information, to find out if someone's reputable, and do all the research you can online in addition. But the Better Business Bureau, that I'm sure there's a local office here that you can call and ask them about a specific service. You might want to get 2 or 3 that you've talked to, and maybe get a recommendation from the Triple B, and do all the research you can. But I know there's a lot of them out there, and they wouldn't be out there if they didn't do something. And I don't think that they can advertise being able to provide a particular service, and they can't provide the particular service. I don't think they would be allowed to do that. So there's something to it. But and if you're willing to take the hit on your credit temporarily to get some consolidation and lower payment and what have you, then more power to you.
Well, I've been stymied. I've kind of been like on a merry-go-round here, and I initially approached it from the standpoint of making significantly greater than minimum payments,
Right.
and to retire the debt in a relatively short 3-year period of time.
Understood.
Set it up
Understood.
like that.
Well,
But,
I think your next call may be to the Better Business Bureau and see if they can help you and provide you good information.
Okay. Well,
But Edgar, I
certainly
appreciate your listening
opinion
and
on it.
calling in very, very much so. And your name will go into the drawing for the dinner for two at Altavola, assuming you gave your phone number to the producer.
We love Altavola.
Well, you take care.
There. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. All right. Edgar with a good question. It was pertinent to him personally, important to him. Yeah, let me start with some information. Let me pull this thing up here. Okay. Peter Anderson has been everywhere. I mean, ever since I had him on my program, and I'm not saying it's because he was on the program, please. I know better than that, but it's not like buying a new car. When you buy a new car, you see that kind of car everywhere. So we had Peter Anderson on the show, and I'm seeing him everywhere, every financial online program, national financial program on the networks. I mean, he is everywhere. And he just has a lot of wisdom about things. I really enjoy what he says. And he's actually emailing me 3 to 4 times per week with information. He'll give me copies of articles he's written or a video copy of an interview on these programs. And just love listening to him. And, I had him on the show, and before we got on the show, we conversed enough to know that we were on the same page regarding rate hikes. Neither one of us, as early as the beginning of 2023, believed there were going to be any rate hikes this year. I just did not believe it. And what I told him today, and he loved the he loved the phrase, and he says he's going to use it. And I've used his "don't paint over fresh paint" analogy as well. But rate hikes work like a crock pot on the economy, not a microwave. And in other words, rate hikes take a good long while to actually affect the economy, to slow it down. It's not something you can do this month, and then the next month you can reverse course because they've taken effect. It's just the economy moves very, very slowly when it's changing directions. It's like a super tanker. When the captain gives the order for a super tanker to stop, it takes, I believe I've read, 3 miles for that super tanker to come to a halt because it's so large. And our economy is extremely large, so it just takes a long time. It's in a crock pot, and it is gradually slowing down, and inflation is coming down, and it's had a definite effect. But it will be a while before we see rate reductions. Peter Anderson and I are in agreement that we won't see rate reductions this year. I believe the beginning of next year will be the first time that we will see rate reductions. And that's okay. I mean, you see what's going on now. The economy is doing fine. Employment numbers are okay. Employment is slowing. We're seeing some tick up in unemployment and tick down in new jobs. And that's what the Fed was after. But it's not there yet. I mean, the Fed has been very explicit in its desire to reduce inflation to close to 2%. And, it's going to have to be close to 2% before we see a change in directions there. Today, to give you an idea how well the market is receiving all this, the Dow crossed over 40,000 for the first time in its history. 40,000. I remember when a book came out, 20, 25 years ago, and the title of the book was Dow 30,000. And people thought the man was a lunatic. At the time, I believe the Dow was in the upper teens, like 18,000, somewhere in that range. And they thought he was out of his mind. I don't know why people think that there's some sort of glass ceiling on the market. If the market ever quit going up, that means that our economy, and the global economy for that matter, has ceased to function. We've had a global catastrophic economic event, and the global economy has died because the market goes up simply because we have growth in the economy. And if the economy quits growing, your money will be the least of your concerns. Your money would become worthless if that's the case. So the market's going to continue to go up as long as we're taking breath, barring that catastrophic event. So, 40,000 is just another marker. It's just another milestone on its way to 100,000. And who knows how long that'll take. You could actually put a financial calculator to it and see, based on historical return, put 40,000 present value, 100,000 future value, and just see how long it would take. You can calculate it. And that's probably about how long it'll take, because the averages in the future should be something like the averages in the past. But when we crossed over 40 and people made a big hoo-ha about it, and by the way, we ended up below 40, we'll probably cross 40,000 5 or 6 times, going and coming. You understand what I'm saying there? It happened when we crossed 10,000. Yes, the market was at 10,000. You people that are like 40 years old or under would not even remember. But yes, the market was at 10,000 at one point. Matter of fact, April of 99, it crossed 10,000 for the first time. All right, now I want you to make a mental note of these dates and numbers that I'm giving you. April 99, the Dow crossed 10,000 for the first time. October of 2002, which was 3.5 years later, it hit 7,528. So it had dropped 2,500 points, which was a fourth of the total Dow index at that point. At that point, everyone, I remember it vividly, everyone was saying it was over. The market was never going to recover. It was never going up again. All right, so October of 2002, it hit 7,528 after hitting 10,000 2.5 years earlier. December of 2009, it was just over 10,000. That's why we call the decade from January of 2000 to December of 2009 the lost decade. It is the only 10-year period in history where you would not have made money purely on the index itself, the number. Now, we made money in the market because of dividends and some movements and shifting and that kind of thing. Everyone that kind of knew what they were doing did, but if you just put it in an S&P 500 index and left alone, you would not have made money for over that 10-year period. So that was the lost decade. Now, December of 2019, it was 28,000. That was 10 years later. So it went from 10,000 to 28,000 in 10 years. The previous decade, it was flat for the entire decade. What I'm telling you is we don't know what the market's going to do. We just don't. And trying to time the market, trying to determine its peaks and valleys is an impossible task. I've never known anyone, never heard of anyone that has been able to do it successfully, consistently, over a period of time. It just doesn't happen. Sometimes, as we say in the South, a blind hog will find a corn cob once in a while. And they'll publicize it, put it in a book, newsletter, and people flock to them. And then they'll find out that no, they can't consistently time markets. But when you've managed money through all of that, which I started managing investment money for clients in 1991. From 79 to 91, I was insurance only, mostly life. And then 91, I began managing investment money. And so I've managed money through all of this. So when you've managed money through all of that, there's nothing that surprises you anymore. Okay, I have managed clients' money, handled clients' money through 6 bear markets and 5 recessions. So I've seen it all come and go. And if you want somebody that has been through it all and nothing surprises them and doesn't get emotional about market turmoil, then you might want to contact me. I'd love to talk with you. My numbers, or information I should say, are this. My office number is area 252-561. No, it's not. 56. That's video. Jim. My number is 252-756-4700, 756-4700. Call the office and schedule a time to get together. You can also email me at jim@jtauntonfinancial.com, jim@jtauntonfinancial.com. And you can look over my right shoulder here and see how to spell my name. If you're watching on YouTube, by the way, and if you're not, you can go to YouTube, Financially Speaking NC, and you can see what I'm talking about. And then also my website is jtauntonfinancial.com, and you can contact me through there. And also on there, you learn anything you need to know about Jim, probably more than you ever want to know about Jim. There's even a link to Broker Check on there, the FINRA website, to see if Jim's ever been accused of anything. And I have a very clean slate, I should say. All right. Where are we? Whew. Let's go to a quick break. Let's get that break in, although we're way past the midpoint. And call me during the break. I'll have time to take a call. Number is 252-561-TALK, 561-8255. Well, I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Aiden Golf and Country Club invites you to become a member. Come tour our beautiful clubhouse, ballroom, and facilities. For a quality golf experience, sign up for our discounted special membership rates, low monthly dues with no quarterly food minimum or assessments. Folks love to play golf at Aiden Golf and Country Club. Cool off at the pool all summer. Enjoy excellent food and beverages from the snack bar. Even store your own cart, unless you like to walk. Call 746-3389 for special limited membership rates at the Aiden Golf and Country Club.
My practice has been built on accessibility, responsiveness, and a willingness to be proactive for my clients. I'm not afraid to make recommendations relating to your investments and planning. I do hope all of your financial decisions are good ones, but let's not rely on hope. Let's roll up our sleeves and get to work.
Jim has attained 3 professional designations: Certified Financial Planner, Chartered Life Underwriter, and Chartered Financial Consultant, which entails 20 courses of study with examinations and a comprehensive national board exam, administered by the Certified Financial Planning Board. Jim has been practicing in financial services since 1979, which includes investing, planning, and insurance to help you meet your financial goals. Among the many awards Jim has received in his career is his selection to the Guide of the Top Financial Planners by the Consumer Research Council of America. So if you want to work with someone who is working for you, call Jim at 756-4700 or email him at planning@financiallyspeaking.com. That's 756-4700 and planning@financiallyspeaking.com.
All right, Jim Taunton back with you. Glad you stayed through the break. And we were talking about the Dow Jones Industrial Index. And, I used to do this a lot on the program, and I've kind of forgotten about doing it. But I presume that people know things I'm talking about and know verbiage, and you probably don't. So you may be thinking, well, what is an index? What does it do? And I thought I'd give you a little primer. There are so many indices out there, and what an index is a measurement of how stocks are performing, or you actually can be, you can have bond index, you have commodities index, you can have an index that measures everything, essentially. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is an index of 30 blue chip stocks. So it's a measure of how those 30 blue chip stocks are performing on a day-to-day basis. And it includes a wide range of companies, from financial services companies, computer companies, retail companies, but it excludes transportation and utility companies, which are not included in separate indices. So it is also a price weighted index, which means the share price of the company is what makes it a bigger part of the index. Most people don't think it's the best way to do it, and it probably is not. And so there's some other indices that use what's called a market weighted or a market capitalization method, which means take the value of all outstanding stock shares, and that's how that company is weighted in that index. So if you've got a company, the market capitalization of all the companies in the index is 30% of that whole basket of stocks, then the movement of that particular stock is 30% of movement of the index. New York Stock Exchange Composite Index tracks the price movements of all common stocks listed on the New York Stock Exchange. The S&P 500 Composite Stock Index is a capitalization weighted, again, index of 500 stocks intended to be representative sample of leading companies in the leading industries within the U.S. economy. So stocks in the index change. Some are kicked out, others come in. It's based on the market size, liquidity, industry group representation, and whatnot. Wilshire 500 Total Market Index. Here's one for you. The Wilshire 5000 Total Market Index is intended to measure the performance of the entire U.S. stock market. It contains all U.S. headquartered equity securities with readily available price data, and it is a capitalization weighted index. The Russell 2000 Index. You're getting the point. There's a lot of them out there, and actually you can invest in these. There are ETFs, exchange traded funds, that follow any of these indices. So if you want to invest in an index, you can. The Russell 2000 Index is a capitalization weighted index designed to measure the performance of the 2,000 smallest publicly traded U.S. companies. So this would be something for small cap. If you felt strongly that small cap was going to do better for a period of time, then you might want to buy an ETF that follows the Russell 2000 Index and not try to pick stocks. NASDAQ 100 Index. The NASDAQ 100 Index is a modified capitalization weighted index. It's designed to track the performance of the 100 largest and most actively traded non-financial domestic and international securities listed on the NASDAQ stock market. And the NASDAQ stock market is completely electronic, as opposed to the New York Stock Exchange, which, as you know, you see on television. There's actually real people there on the floor. So gives you an idea of the diversification of indices and the fact that each index measures things differently. So it is not a level playing field there. So there you go on that. Man, I don't have time to get into a new thing. I was going to talk about the color of the Oval Office. I'll tell you, do it very quickly. Little brochure here that's telling me what the returns were for various presidents. I'm going to just read them to you. And the point will be, it doesn't matter if the oval is blue or red, the market's going to do what it does. Actually, I've got music in my ear. I'll hold it for next week. So, as always, this is Jim Talton helping you make all of your financial decisions good ones. Good night, everybody.